Well, thank you, Karen, for the opportunity to talk with everyone today. I'm going to switch gears just a little bit from where Karen was all heart and faith and soul, which is so important, to something a little bit more practical. And y'all, I talk with my hands. I'll try to keep myself still so I'm not moving too much, but that's just how I communicate, is with my hands. But what I wanted to talk to y'all today about is good communication with your clients and coaches on your team, because without being really clear about your intentions and expectations for yourself, for them, and between each other, there's going to be a breakdown and somebody's going to misunderstand something somewhere along the way. So in Iowa, it's finally high school baseball season, and this is something that I thought I could relate to y'all today. So the last 2 nights we've had baseball games. Our son is and Doug just walked in and the dog's barking at him. Guys, that's enough. I'm going to get Doug. But so what happened was, he's killing me. He said he was going to interrupt me with the weed eater, but instead he interrupted me with the dog. But anyway, so at the baseball game, our team is in the field. The batter hits a pop fly. You see the right fielder, the second baseman, the center fielder all run towards the ball. Nobody says a word. And then they all see each other running towards the ball and they all stop, because they were not communicating with each other. Okay, baseball 101, somebody call the ball. Okay, mine, take it. They're communicating. If you are not clear with your intentions and what you expect, they don't know what you're going to be giving them. Okay, you've got to be clear. When everybody's running towards the ball and then everybody stops, there's going to be a breakdown. The ball's going to drop in the middle, or they're all going to run into each other, which could be really disastrous. Okay, so in the very beginning, before you ever add a client, the way we meet most people nowadays is on Facebook. So on your Facebook page, are you being really clear about who you are and what you offer? You should be showing plenty of health tips. You should be showing plenty of healthy recipes. You should be showing plenty of before and afters, but you should also be showing plenty of life. My dog's back here barking. I'm probably going to talk about that today on my social media. You see my kids, you see my dog, you see when I had my chickens, which we left them in Arkansas, but I loved my chickens. Any good books that you've read, be yourself on your social media, but be very clear about what you offer. You don't want to confuse people where they think, well, she's always talking about this trip she took, or she's always talking about her lipstick and leggings, and she's also talking about healthy recipes. Like, what does she really do? Be really clear about what you offer, but still be authentic to yourself. Okay. Don't confuse people by, promoting somebody else's business, or if you have 5 other businesses that you're a part of, pick one, dive deep on that one. We went all in with health coaching. Doug went all in 4 years ago. It took me 2 years to jump on board with him, but it has been the absolute best thing we've ever done for our own health and our lives. Our lives are completely transformed. It was 4 years ago, actually this month, it was 4 years ago in May that we started on program, and he started coaching actually 2 days before we even got our first box of food. But y'all, it's the best thing we've ever done. You can go to our Facebook pages and tell that's what we're about. You can see that we have busy kids, that we have our dogs. You know that he's a deer hunter. It's very obvious, but you see that we have health and hope and a solution for a very hurting world. But like I said, be yourself. You can look to other people for inspiration, but you can't take a post from Westland and copy it word for word, slap your own picture in there, and it make any sense. You can't look at Kristen's page and do exactly what she does, copy it word for word. You can take inspiration, but make it your own. Okay, be really clear on your social media about what you offer. Then in person, you need to be in person who you say you are on Facebook. Now, I'm not saying we all show a highlight reel. Karen was just talking about that. We all do that, but you can't be behind the scenes pounding pizza and cheeseburgers and ice cream, and then on social media talk about the salads you eat every day. Because when people see you at the grocery store, they're gonna know. I live in a really small town. When we lived in Arkansas, everybody knew that's what we were doing, and people would follow me around the grocery store. What are you cooking for supper tonight, Brandy? Who are those Doritos for? Well, I have children. My kids get to eat Doritos. The salad's for me. You have to be really clear, though. They can tell. Even if you sneak some Doritos every once in a while, they're going to know. They're going to be able to see it when you're walking around town. Okay? So be who you say you are on social media and in person. Now, once you get someone who's interested in the program, you need to be really clear with them about the program. When you're on a share call with them, this is a line that I heard on a podcast. Chalene Johnson is one of my favorite podcasters. She's great. She always says, be brief, be bright, make it fun, and then be done. Okay. So your share calls should not take 45 minutes. You want to be a very good listener, hear their problem, hear their pain point, know what they're looking for, show them the solution. Okay. As you grow with this business, it will take some time to be really, really good at that. It's going to take practice. So whether that means you call your best friend and say, hey, I need to practice this call. Will you listen to this and act like an interested client for me so I can learn how to do this better? And then give me some feedback. Do practice calls with your mentor coach if that's what you need. It's gonna get better the more often that you do it. And the only way to do that is to practice. Maybe what you need to do is have some notes and practice it in the mirror with yourself. Ask yourself those questions, learn how to respond to those well. If you get stumped on something and you're just not sure about it, say, you know what, I'm really not sure. I'm going to have to check with nutrition support and I'm going to get back to you on that, but let's move on to the next thing. Don't just stop and say, oh my gosh, I don't know what else to say. All right. You can find that out. If your mentor coach isn't available right then, you can always get back to them. And now my phone is ringing. I'm telling you, everybody wants to try to interrupt me today, but we're going to keep going. But yeah, lots and lots of practice is going to help you get really, really good at that share call. Be upbeat and happy and excited for the possibility to work with them. And like I said, keep the call focused on the purpose of the call. Now is not the time for the question, how's your mom and them? You want to stay talking on the topic. I know in the very beginning, Doug's share calls took 45 minutes, but that's because 30 minutes of the call, they spent deer hunting. And then they would get to the health and almost always they signed up because he worked really hard in the very beginning. So keep the call to the call. And because another reason you want to keep on task while you're on this call with these potential clients is they're also potential coaches. So you don't want them to think that every call with every client is going to take 45 minutes. If you can get that share call, health assessment call down to 10 to 15 minutes, they're going to say, oh, well, I can talk to a couple of people for 10 to 15 minutes a day. If they think it takes 45 minutes every time, they're going to say, this is too much time. I don't have that kind of time. Okay. So if they change the subject, say, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't have time to get into this right now. I'll call you at 7:00 and we'll talk about that. Or let's go to coffee tomorrow. We'll have that discussion then. But right now I can't get into that. Okay. And another thing that's really, really important on that share call, the ability to listen. This is a quote I heard this morning. The ability to listen is as important as the ability to speak. I heard Jim Rohn say in a podcast. So you've got to ask good questions, listen to their response, listen to respond. Don't just listen to talk. Okay. You've got to listen to what they're saying and then learn how best to help them. Okay. And another thing, when you're on these calls with the clients, and this is something that I personally struggle with still to this day, it's really hard to live with your coach because Doug corrects me on this all the time. When you're on a call with a coach or a client, do your very best to be 100% present on that call. Do your best to get rid of distractions. I tried, y'all. Okay. I put the cat outside. I put the dog in his kennel. I should have made Doug go to the farm. That's where I messed up. He's in there. This is, our house is not real big and we have barn doors. So there's not a lot of privacy when you're on the phone. I should have said, you know what? I need you to leave the house while I'm on this call for an hour. He would have been fine with that. And I was not clear with my communication. I said, I have CEO at 10:00. He's like, yeah, I'll be in there. I'll be quiet. And now he's talking on the phone. But you want to be 100% present with what you're doing. Sometimes that means I'm hiding in the pantry. And then the kids or the dogs are sometimes going to find me. Sometimes you have to go outside. Sometimes I'll sit in the car with the sign on the window that says, I'm on the phone. Don't disturb me. And especially with this summer season coming up, you're gonna run into that, but do the best you can to be fully present wherever you are. Okay. Now, I'm not saying if somebody calls you, you don't answer the phone because you're at a baseball game or at the pool or whatever. But if you have a specific call planned, don't have any distractions around. I've had to turn down calls the last 2 evenings because it's baseball season. Our son's a freshman and he's starting with the varsity team, and I did not want to miss it. I didn't want to be distracted and torn between Eli and whatever our coach and clients were saying on the phone. I just said, I'm so sorry. I'm not available right now. I can do it tomorrow or I can do it 30 minutes earlier. And we've just been doing our best to work around that. Okay. So like I said, be sure that you are hearing their pain points, hear their needs, hear how you can help them. Different needs have different programs. Okay. Once you get them to become a client, you want to be really clear in your expectations of them. Our program, there's 4 pillars to our program. I heard Becca Tinter say this one time. It's like a 4-legged table. If you are missing one of these legs, your table is going to be wobbly. If you're missing 2, your table is going to fall over. Okay. So what are the 4 pillars of our program? They're your health coach, the habits of health, the fuelings, and the community. So these are my expectations for you for these 4 pillars. I'm your health coach. Don't ghost me. If I reach out to you, if we have a call planned, if you can't make it, just say, I'm so sorry, something's come up, I can't make it. But if we have a call planned at 6 o'clock, I need you to be on the phone at 6 o'clock. I'm not going to take a lot of your time, but I'm doing this to help you. So I expect you to be on the phone. If I text you, I expect a response. Okay. And we do this in a nice way, not like we're talking to a toddler, right? But you want to be clear in what you're expecting from them. The habits of health. Now, if they're not into that big book, mine's right over there on our bookshelf. If they're not into reading that big giant book, that's okay. They can get it through podcasts. They can get it through YouTube. You should have some information on your client support page. There are other ways to dig into these habits of health, but they're going to need to learn them and apply them and live them long term for this program to work effectively. The third thing is the fuelings. They're not going to do anybody any good sitting in the box. Okay. They've got to eat them. They've got to taste them. They've got to carry them with them. Okay. Fuelings are part, you hear me? That is 25% of our program, not all of it, but it is a very vital part of the program. And then the community, they need to be plugged into whatever client support page your organization uses. Now, just about, if it's like ours, I see so many times every day, somebody asks the same question. Can I drink coffee on this program? Can I do this program if I'm on, if I have this health issue? Can I do this program as a nursing mother? Whatever. Teach them how to search the group, because that question's probably already been answered. But tell them to get involved. Hey, I'm going on vacation. What are your best tips to help me stay on track? Or the brownie is my favorite fueling. What's your favorite? Or, have you found a different way to make the chocolate shake? Whatever the question is, or just tell them to go if they don't feel like posting, if they're shy. Go on there and support the people. Oh, that person lost 5 pounds. Congratulations. That's amazing. I hope I have the same success. Or you see somebody take up their belt another notch. Whatever it is, tell them to not only ask questions, but be involved with the people that are already posting. You want to be really clear with your clients what their first week is going to look like. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard downline coaches say, well, I had somebody on day 2 and they quit because they said they had a headache. You want to be sure they understand the first few days can be rough, but that's true with anything. Change is uncomfortable. If we don't go through that uncomfortable stage, we're not going to get to the other side of it. Okay. So you want to be sure they know what to expect, that some uncomfortableness is normal, is part of the process, unfortunately. But once you get past it that first time, you get into a good fat burn, you're not going to have to experience that again. Okay. Make sure they know that coming on. You don't want them to think that it's going to last months and months, that day 2, day 3 feeling is going to go by quickly. Drink that Gatorade Zero, take a Tylenol, go to bed early. That's what I tell all my clients. The first week, just go to bed as early as possible. I know it's not always easy, but if you can go to bed at 8 o'clock, just go to bed at 8 o'clock. You'll thank yourself next week. Okay. And that's really kind of where I want to wrap things up, but just, what it's like to get into being a client, what it's like to be ghosted or to ghost someone. Just be really clear and concise on what you expect from them, what they can expect from you. And sometimes they may need to tell you, okay, I don't want you to text me every single day. I don't want you to call me every single day. Just be sure that you know how those lines of communication are best going to work between you and your clients. Be open, be honest, and just be yourself. That's the best thing you can do. So thank you, Karen, for allowing me to share, and I will turn it back over to you.